All right, so like I said, thank you very much, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, 10 Ways to Grow Your Training Business. I'd like to introduce the CEO of Arlo, John Mitchell,
Hello.
and he's going to do an introduction about himself. Off you go, John.
Yeah, hi there. Just very briefly, we've set up the business about 10 years ago. I was one of the founders, and it's really been exciting to see how fast the company's grown. We're now in 70 countries, and we've turned over about $1 billion worth of training transactions. So, yeah, looking forward to taking you through some of the lessons that we've learned more recently about how to run a successful training business.
Thanks, John. And I'm Kathy. I'm the sales manager at Arlo. I started out working as a teacher and then a principal, and I've taught for a number of years in the UK as well. And now I'm heading the sales at Arlo, managing our team in the UK and in New Zealand, where we originated from. So really my main aim in our business is to solve the business problems of the training organisations we work with. So really it's around making sure that we understand what their difficulties and issues are, and using our software to support them in managing those and fulfilling those gaps that they have. So before we kick off, just to let you know, if you have a question, could you please just put it in the question area, and then we will take a note of that, and if we can, we will respond to those queries at the end of the webinar. If there's time and people want to stay on, we can do that. If not, then I will call you back and we will go through those answers to the queries on a one-on-one basis. Okay, John, thank you. Now we'll go through the agenda, and I'm going to hand it over to John to carry on with that.
Good, great, thanks Kathy. Let's get stuck into it. So obviously today we're talking about 10 ways to grow your training business. Now we're going to cover your website and checkout, SEO and marketing, attendee communication, resource management, and feedback surveys. And when we go through these, I'm going to try and give you some good examples of leading training operators. We've also got a section on training technology. So you might have heard the acronyms LMS, EMS, CRM, and so forth. Well, I'm going to give you a bit of insight into those and potentially what you should be looking for. Finally, some buying considerations during that process of reviewing the different systems. And then we'll give you a bit of an overview of Arlo too at the end. Okay, so let's get straight into it. First one. So the first one out of 10 is put your user experience first. Okay, so 80% of people who visit your website and can't find the information they're looking for within the first few minutes will give up and return to Google. Pretty obvious, really. So what you've got to do is ask yourself, how easy is it for people to find the information they're looking for on your website? And we've got a hint, we've got a suggestion here. Make your homepage a gateway to your training catalog. Okay, and the second one is add filters to your searches to make it easy to drill down into information on your training catalog. So filters by topic, delivery format, and location. And if we jump into a really good site here, this is Safety in Action, so a health and safety training provider. This is their main website. So above the fold, and when I talk about the fold, I mean the first thing that you can see when you load the page is front and center a course search. So if I know the course I'm looking for, I can enter the details and go straight in and start booking on that course. And in fact, they actually add a filter here. So they add a filter for region, so location, and the availability. So they can refine that filter before you jump into that or pointed towards the training catalog. Secondly, they've actually got a link directly to the main catalog. And if you scroll down their main homepage, you'll see a lot of information and a couple of key links there, upcoming courses link and the course catalog. Now, if you jump onto the course catalog, this is a bit of an obvious one, but again, you can see a filter by category. So if I know what I'm looking for and I get to the catalog page, then I can just simply search on it or refine the filter and see the available courses. You can see there I've also got a course keyword search as well. If I open up a course page, the structure of the data and the visual appearance of the course is really attractive there. I can see all the summary information at the top of the page, you know, the hours, how long it is, the price, and then I can scroll down the page and see the various information about the course. On the right there, I've got a simple little availability search there, so I can choose when the course is running. So I might want the next available date, or I might want to choose a particular month and see what dates are running. Again, I can apply that filter, check what's available, and see the dates running. Nice and simple. If we look at the demo company, the Arlo demo company, and look at the home page here, so front and center on this home page is a course search. Again, if I know what I'm looking for, I can quickly find that course and register for it. If we scroll down the page, there's the little course search. If we scroll down the page, we've got what's on. So this is like what the next course date's running. This is really just to give the home page a bit of life, to show that you're actually running lots of courses and it's constantly changing. If we go to the next little widget on the home page, this is a real key one. It allows a person who knows the delivery method to jump into the catalog. So if they know they're looking for a public face-to-face course, they can click on that and see your catalog that's been filtered to only show public courses. If they're in a remote location, they can choose to see which courses are running live online, exactly what we're doing right now. Or if they're wanting a custom in-house private course, they can also choose to jump into the catalog and see only the courses that you offer in a classroom private scenario. And then, of course, if they're wanting to do e-learning, they can go ahead and click that. So, like I said before, this little widget here is designed to encourage you to get into your site, nice and easy. So I'm just going to choose, actually, Kathy, if you can just put on mute, I can hear your keyboard going. Okay, the next widget we're going to look at, if we scroll down, is just a feature course, so something you want to highlight. And then another widget here, this one takes you into the catalog yet again. And in this case, you can filter by topic. So you might have your 4 main topics there. I can click on a specific topic and it'll take me into the catalog. So you can see there about 3 different widgets, all designed to get you into those course listings so the person will ultimately purchase. I've added this page into our demo. It's a course schedule catalog. It's an option that we often integrate into a client site. The reason I've shown you it's quite an effective design where you can group courses by category, and you can see the name of the course. This is all sample data, as you can see, and you've got a brief description. So if you kind of know the course you're looking for, it's got all that high-level information without having to drill into the actual individual page. Now, like we mentioned, really important to have those filters on there to apply the filters, and in doing so, you're going to update those dates that are visible and the courses that are visible. So when I hover over them, I can see that that's the course that I'm looking for and go ahead and register for it. Okay, let's look at the search on this site. So if possible, you want to have a search that's specifically designed for searching courses, not just a text-based search that's going to bring up a blank page, but one that's going to give you data relating to the course. So in the case of the first result here, this is the name of the course, you can see the category, or the breadcrumb there, and just making sure that the course search on your website is designed to show course data. So it's not just a sort of a page-based search, but it's actually got rich data there in terms of when the course is running, the location, and a bit of information about which category the courses are in. So that's that green text, and I can click on a category and see other courses in that category. Okay, and likewise, what we're talking about before, you want to be able to apply filters. So you can see there's a location filter, category filter, and so forth. Okay, still on the same topic, putting your user experience first. What percentage of your website visitors start the checkout process but don't complete it? So what we want to do here is reduce the friction in your checkout. Basically make it a lot easier, or really easy to register. So a few points here. We want to make sure that it remembers the details of the last registrant or registrants that you entered, so you don't have to re-enter their details. So it's got a remember function, and it's not just remembering you, but it's remembering the other registrants if they had actually entered more than one. Next thing is you want to be able to have a booking contact. Quite often, the person who's placing the booking isn't necessarily the registrant. So they want to be able to put their name in there so that they receive, say, the invoice, the order information, as well as the registrants. So being able to add a booking contact as well as a registrant. Next, you want to be able to support multiple registrants on the same course. Okay, you don't want to have them going through their order process multiple times just when they actually have a few people to register on the same course. You want one invoice, one order, and likewise if they've got multiple courses, so if they're registering a person or people on multiple courses, you don't want to have separate invoices for them. So a really good shopping cart, being able to put lots in the cart before you go through the checkout. You want automated discounts. So ideally, you don't want to have to put a promo code for early bird discounts. The system should just work out okay, this course is running in 10 days. It's due for, or it's available for the early bird discount. That should automatically apply it versus asking the user to enter something in. Okay, if we look at a course page, so this is an example of a course page. What we're going to do now is register on a course. So I'll select that course there. And as you can see here in this example, obviously this is Arlo checkout process that we're looking at. But anyway, as you can see here in the Arlo checkout, it gives you the options of the previous people you've registered on the course. So I'm going to choose Felicity, and it's going to automatically populate her details in that form. I'm then going to be able to add another attendee. So I'll do that now. Add another attendee, and in this case, I'm going to enter them manually, so Holly. So I've registered Felicity and Holly. One of them was already in the system, and the other one I manually entered. Okay, when I go to the checkout and choose the payer, I can do an individual payment, so the person who is paying it by themselves, so I guess an individual that's not associated with an organisation, or I can have an organisation pay for this particular order. Now, when I enter the organisation name, in this case here, if I start typing, it gives me a suggestion. Now, this obviously makes it easier for the user, but in fact, in this case, it's really important to remove or reduce duplicates, because if your system automatically integrates through the accounting system, then you want to make sure that you don't have a whole lot of duplicates in your accounting system. So this not only makes it easier for the user, where they can select a suggestion in the list, it also makes sure that your data is clean. And there you've got the order contact. So in this case, I'm Jacob, and I'm entering this particular order in the website. So there's the order contact and who's separate from the registrants. So if I scroll down the page here to payment details, we do actually have promo code discounts, but like I mentioned, you want automated discounts to just automatically apply. So a member discount to automatically apply, or an early bird discount to automatically apply. Vouchers, you want to be able to add vouchers or give away special vouchers if for a promotion. And different payment options. Not everyone want to pay by credit card. Some of your special accounts want to pay on account. So say have a 20th of the month payment terms, and so you want to be able to support those different payment methods depending on the type of customer they are. Okay, accept the terms and conditions, review. Nice and simple in the review. Who is it billed to? Who's the order contact? And there's the order items in the checkout. And you can see those discounts automatically applied. So we'll just finish that off. We'll enter the credit card details and confirm. Okay, so that's just an example of making it nice and easy for a person to register, but giving you that flexibility to solve some of those common problems. So on to number 2 out of 10. So eliminate website administration. So do you manually have to update your website content? For example, when you add a new course date or have to change course details, do you have to edit your website? This is pretty obvious. So you want to make sure that you only have to do it once. So in your course scheduling tool, you want that connected to your main website. So you make the changes once, and it updates your website automatically. So if we look at typical scenarios or common scenarios where you've got a training management system that's not connected to your website backend. So in your website, you've got a database in the backend, the CMS database, and then you've got the front end where you're taking the payments and processing the transaction. So in a real painful scenario is when you've got a training management system that's not only not connected to your backend CMS, your website database, it's also not connected to the front end. A better system is when you've got some sort of synchronization. So when you change details in your database, it updates the website backend database. It's even better when the payment and those transactions pass right through back into the training system. And what's really good these days, or the best, is where you don't even need to use your CMS, where the website front end is talking directly with the back end database. Why is this good? Well, first thing, it's really quick to implement. You don't have to do any database synchronization or integration, so it's fast and easy to implement. And secondly, it's updated in real time. So if you cancel a course or a course becomes full and it switches on its waiting list, it's in real time. As soon as that course is full, it'll update and flick to a waiting list straight away. Okay, number 3 out of 10, create an excuse to capture leads. Okay, 96% of users that come to your website won't be ready to buy. What you want to do is try and collect the information about those users so you can market to them. So the question here is, do you collect that data if they're not ready to buy? So find ways to capture leads or capture their information. So the first one is save courses to favorites. So offer a favorites or a wish list on your website. So the person clicks the link and says, yeah, I want to be reminded of that. That's my favorite course. I want to do it at some point. And as soon as they do that, you pop up and you ask for email address. Straight away, you've got their details and you're starting to build a relationship with them. Second one, access gated content. So put up gated content like white papers or something that's of value to the user that they're willing to give their details to provide access to that information. So before they can download that paper or access that page, they enter their details. Suggest a new course topic. So here's a way you offer them the opportunity to, I guess, submit some ideas for courses. And when they submit that idea, you capture the details, and again, you start that relationship with them. Request a course running in my location. So this one we're going to have a look at a little bit later. But basically, if they look at all the course dates, it doesn't look like a course is running in the location or the city that they're based. You can offer them the opportunity to register interest. That way you capture their information. But also, if you get a whole lot of people in that same location that are interested in the course, you can actually schedule that course and run it. And then, of course, get in touch with them and let them know that they can now register. Inquire about running courses in-house. So again, you'll see this on another slide that we go through or an example that we go through. So allow people to register interest in a in-house or custom, whatever you call them, private courses. People have different names for them, but essentially running a public course on site for a client and allow them to register their interest. And of course, last one is just have a newsletter subscription form on your website. Okay, so like I said, it's all about capturing their information so you can then build that relationship. So if we look at a course page here, this is University of Auckland, and this is their course on budgeting and forecasting. If I scroll down the page, get to the dates where it's running, and if I zoom in on this form, you'll see that not only can I register for this course, I can also register interest. So if those dates or locations don't suit, I can register my interest, just like I explained. And secondly, same thing, as I explained, the person can inquire about running this course in-house. So on every one of their course pages, they offer those two options. Why? Because they want to get that person's details if they're not yet ready to purchase. Okay, so fourth, so this is the fourth one out of 10, be seen when people go looking. 78% of users never scroll past the first Google page. If you think about when you type in a search, how often do you actually go beyond the first page in the results of Google? You don't usually. Usually you refine your search once more or actually look at the pages that have been presented on that first page. So, does your website show up on page one? That's the question you've got to ask. And you've got to do some searches for courses and make sure that your courses or keywords for courses result in your course pages being presented on page one of Google. So if they don't, or just generally a good policy, what's your SEO strategy? You should have one. Okay, so some hints and some suggestions around your SEO strategy. Use Google's structured markup. Okay, so what I'm showing you here is the results of a search in Google where the sites that are presented don't have structured markup. Now, it's easy for me to show the ones that do because you'll instantly notice the difference. Okay, this one does. This one doesn't. This one does. So what you can see here is that the one that has structured data, the site has told Google, hey, what you're looking at on this page is a list of courses. And each of those courses are running on a specific date and at a specific location. So when Google constructs the search results, it pulls in that information and provides much more, I guess, visible structured data. I can clearly see on this page here, we've got 3 different courses, the dates they're running and the locations, and likewise on these other pages. So this is what we call structured data, and Google has a whole lot of different types of structured data. So you want to make sure your course pages tell Google about those courses that are running. Okay, still on the topic of be seen when people go looking, align your course names and descriptions with SEO keywords. It's a pretty common one you'd have heard. Make sure you got the keywords. but sometimes we miss it. So in this example here, the first one has missed a keyword, which is Microsoft. Yeah, sure, everyone talks about Microsoft being Excel, and sometimes they miss miss calling it Microsoft Excel. But remember, if a person's searching specifically with Microsoft Excel, you want to make sure that your course is the first one in the list. And the only way to do that is to make sure that keyword, in this case, Microsoft, is in the title of the course. And furthermore, what the person's done is made sure that the keyword is not only in the title, but it's also in the content, in the description of the course. In fact, if you look at the example above, the first one, there's no real description. What has happened here is the website hasn't taken the time, or the person who's built that website hasn't taken the time to put a good description into the course page itself. So Google is essentially trying to find some random information and pull it together itself. Whereas the second one, the course page actually has that information defined so that Google can find it straight away as the description. So it doesn't need to try and compile that information. It's there and ready. Now, what's changed with Google lately? They've allowed you to have a longer description. So previously, I think it was about 200 characters. Now they've got up to 300 characters. So you can put a good description there. So in this description, you're actually telling the person what the value of the course is, and in this case, also the content of the course and what you'll be doing. Okay, still on the same topic. Be seen when people go looking, make your website mobile responsive. This is really a key. It came out probably a couple of years ago, but it's really been put in force last year and of course this year. What Google said is about 2 or 3 years ago, they said, hey, it's really important your sites are mobile friendly. We're going to change our algorithm for searches, and they started it. Well, now they've really enforced that initial policy they talked about. And they've basically said if your site is not mobile friendly, your ranking will suffer. So even if it's a desktop search and your site's not mobile friendly, that search will be put below other sites that are mobile friendly. So here's a few articles that have come out. Well, this one was 2018, so last year. Site not mobile friendly, you can kiss your Google rankings goodbye. New algorithm, so this talks about the new algorithm that I mentioned, is going to have a significant impact. Another one there, Google's latest mobile search algorithm update makes having mobile-friendly sites even more important. I think you get the idea. Okay, so in fact, if you look at Google searches, and so this is some statistics on how many people who are placing a search are using a mobile device. And if you look at this, in the last 2 years, more than 50%, so more than half the people who are doing searches in Google are now doing them on a mobile device. So last year, 52% of people, when they did a search, it was from a mobile device. That means that 48% did it from a desktop. Again, so it's not just about the ranking, it's about the fact that people are actually visiting your site from a mobile device and trying to find information about your courses and purchasing through a mobile phone. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, leverage your data for marketing. So 42% of marketers do not send targeted email messages. So you got to ask yourself, do you use an email marketing tool? Are you sending targeted emails, so with specific content for the user, or is it just a one-size-fits-all newsletter? Okay, so our suggestion is clearly use your data and run targeted campaigns. So some ideas for campaigns. So this one you could build into your actual registration process and your course process. So when a person's finished a course and you send a follow-up email, give them a discount in that email. Give them an incentive to go and book another course. So give them, in this case, 10% discount if you go and book another course within, say, 10 days of completing the course that you've just finished. Another idea, recommendations. So run an email that looks at the courses they've done in the past and give them recommendations on courses they might be interested in the future based on other people's purchasing behavior, what other people who did the course they've just completed have also completed afterwards. A re-engagement campaign. So if a person's registered and you haven't seen a booking for, say, 6 months, 12 months, run a campaign, throw in a special offer, try and get them re-engaged on your site and re-engage with your business. Referral. Clearly, if you get a customer who loves your service and loves your course, recommend that they let another person know about it. Maybe even give them an incentive, give them a free credit or something like that if they go and recommend your service to another friend, and that friend ends up purchasing or registering for a course. Give them an incentive. Okay, number 5, leverage your data for marketing. So again, same topic. In this case here, I'm just going to show you some examples. So this is Coursera. They're an online course provider, as I'm sure you would have heard. So when you've completed a course, they'll send you follow-up emails on other recommended courses, like I mentioned before, actually, in the ideas, and other courses that people who completed your course have also completed. In this case, Udemy, they actually have recommended courses in the course enrollment confirmation. So this is the enrollment confirmation after I've purchased a course. Give me the details of all the course that I've just purchased. Right there on the bottom there, you can see they're actually recommending the next course that I should complete. And then there's another one, Coursera. This is very similar to the other recommended courses. In fact, what they do is they run a couple of emails a month with just different formats, but essentially they're suggesting or recommending courses to you. Okay, that was number 5. Number 6, keep everyone in the loop. Okay, save your administrators days every year by using automated emails or a system that sends out emails automatically. Pretty obvious, this one, but make sure your course system or your training management system automates all the communication. So the question here is, do you manually send out course information? Do you manually have to send out course presenter confirmation, so email booking confirmation to presenters, maybe the venue booking confirmation? What about when details change? Say a room changes or a date changes. Does that mean you have to send out a whole lot of emails to all those people involved? What you want is a system that takes care of that communication automatically. So, yeah, what I've suggested there, workflows that automate common communication. So, automated attendee confirmations, like I mentioned, change confirmation notifications. You know, when you're running a course, you've got the trainers, you've got the venue booking contact, you've got the registrants, and you've probably also got the order contacts. The person who placed the booking needs to be notified if details change. So you want something that really makes it nice and simple. You make an edit in your database and it just takes care of the rest. Transfers. Again, if you're doing a transfer, you want to take care of all that sort of cancelled registration and new booking and make it nice and clear what's changed in that transfer process. Presenter request. This is a little bit more detailed, but often if you're doing a private course or even scheduling a public course, you're trying to find a presenter. They might be external presenters, so you don't know their calendar. Maybe you have a workflow where it automatically sends a request out and a presenter can confirm, so you don't have to go back and forth. You've got a workflow that automates that whole approval process or confirmation process for a presenter. Arlo calls them presenter requests in this case. Okay, what we're doing here is actually looking at Arlo in action. So this is a screenshot or a live demo of a course page. It's a sample course page. The name is called Sample Paid Course. And what I'm looking at here is the tab, the communication tab, which is a log of all the emails that have been sent out for this course. And I'm going to bring up a course change email. So there we go. Nice and clear. It's very clear what's changed. So in this case, it's just a date change. If it was, say, a room change, it would just show that room change, the old room and the new room, all in the one email. Nice and clear. And if you didn't already know, you also get confirmation calendar appointments. So you want a system that doesn't just, I guess, send emails, but it also keeps everyone's calendar in sync. So in the first case, it sends you a booking confirmation with a calendar appointment, and then if details change, then you want that calendar appointment to be automatically updated as well with those details. Good thing, that's exactly what happens. Okay, number 7, manage course capacities for profit. Do you run courses that aren't profitable, e.g. not enough attendees to cover the costs of running that course? So whether you're fixed and variable costs, are you making sure that those are covered? So automate registration limits and waiting list is the idea. So let's just have a quick look at Arlo. This is the dashboard for Arlo. So if we zoom in on one of the widgets, which is the upcoming courses widget, what you can see front and center is whether the first course has met its minimum number. So this is the one that's running next. And you can see because of that green little sign that says min met, it means that that course has got enough attendees to run successfully and profitably. The next course is full, so you might want to start looking at scheduling another course. And the one after that, it's got a little +2 that actually indicates that there's 2 people on the waiting list. So anyway, at a glance, I can see which courses are full, which ones have met their minimum number, and the orange ones haven't met their minimum. So what are you going to do? You're going to run a campaign to try and generate enough registrants to get onto that course to make it profitable. Okay, number 8, easily find available resources. Have you ever double booked a presenter or a room, and are you using your presenters effectively? Pretty obvious one here, use a tool that's got a very good scheduler built in with it. So you can find available presenters and rooms easily, so it's more efficient in scheduling and to ensure you fully book your presenters. So you want to make sure that not only do you have conflicts, or you don't have conflicts, but you want to make sure that each of your presenters are delivered to capacity. You don't want presenters having days off, if you like, or not enough courses running. So if we look at the example here, so what we've got here is the course creation process in Arlo. So when I add a presenter, I'm going to add Jeremy Clarkson here, and a little green message says, hey, there's a conflict. So your system should tell you if you've got a conflict, so it's just not possible to make a mistake like that. Now in this case, we've also got a search tool, a presenter search tool here. So I've entered dates for my course and I've clicked that link that says search presenters. It's pulled up this information, and I can refine the search by applying a filter on tags. So I've tagged all my presenters that deliver marketing courses with a marketing tag, and I've applied that tag so that these are the presenters that I could potentially choose from for my marketing course that I'm scheduling. So it's really clear which ones are available. That's great. So I can see the first 2 aren't available, but the second 2 are available. Well, that might not necessarily be the case, because technically they might not be booked for that particular slot, but maybe the course that they're running prior to that or after that is another city. And so they physically can't actually get to that course. So with this results here, you can see not only is the person available, but you can see where they are prior and after that course booking to make sure that they can physically actually attend the course. Okay, so let's close that one down and let's look at a good scheduling tool. So this one here is just looking at your scheduler, very similar to Outlook, where you've got the list of presenters there, and you can see the dates along in vertical lines there, and the different colors represent the different courses that they've got scheduled. And once again, I can apply a filter here and use that tagging feature to refine the specific presenters or trainers that I'm looking for with a skill set. Okay, so number 9, just about there. Number 9, single source of truth. Do you have a data in a spreadsheet, or is your IT systems not connected? Do they not talk to each other? Again, pretty obvious here. You want to make sure that all your systems are communicating with each other, not just your website and your course database, but other systems like your CRM, like your accounting system. Everything should be talking to each other and integrated. So in this case here, if we look at some of the integrations Arlo's got, we've got integration with accounting systems, with Salesforce, with webinar tools like what we're using now. Marketing tools, so when you're running a campaign, you want to be able to create really good looking looking emails and specially designed marketing tools, and you want that information to flow easily between the 2 different systems. Okay, so let's just click. Warning though, not all integrations are created equal, and this is really important. So you might find, say, do a Google search on a system and says, yep, we integrate with an accounting system, say it's 0. But you want to dive deeper in that and actually look at that integration. Is it a really solid integration? Has it got, for example, 2-way synchronization? So your accounting system, you want that to not only create invoices in the accounting system, but potentially update payment information in your booking system, so that then it'll fire off the associated course instructions communication once that payment's been receipted. So you want that two-way communication.
Likewise with Salesforce, if you've got a big Salesforce implementation and you want your training system integrated with that, you want to make sure there's synchronization of contacts and accounts, but you also want to make sure that training information, like the course details and the course registrations, are actually built into that implementation. That's a really important one. Quite often it will say that the system integrates with Salesforce, but it doesn't actually pull that training information into the databases. It just generates leads or contacts and no more. So yeah, main point there is just to make sure that you really look at that integration in detail. Number 10, go paperless. So do you still use attendance sheets? So do you still take a piece of paper in and ask that your trainers record who's at the event or course? Has any one of those ones got lost? Do you have to wait for that information then to be brought back and entered in the system before you can send out any post-course communication or post-event communication? Well, the best solution here is to get your presenters to record attendance through their mobile phones. Okay, so if you get it right, this is what can potentially happen. So a person registers on the course, they all turn up to the on the day for the course training. You've got the presenter there, they've got their mobile app. In fact, they've been able to keep updated on what courses are running and which ones aren't. They've got all the information about the course, who's attending, and it's really easy for them then to actually go through the names, tick off the people who have attended and record it. And if they do that at the start of the session, then by the end of the session, potentially the systems automatically send out course attendance certificates. It's already sent out a link for online surveys so that at the end they can say, hey, instead of complete this paper-based online survey, they can say, open up your phones, you should have a survey in there, please can you complete it before you leave today? Nice and simple and all integrated. And finally, you could even do a follow-up email. So like I've mentioned before, when your course finishes, maybe throw in a discount there so they get an incentive to make a booking after they've attended a successful course with you. Okay, so that's all about go paperless. And actually, I've got some examples here of how the application for Arlo works. So it's nice and easy. Just tick the people who are in the training, click attend, that's sorted. It'll leave the remaining ones, select all, not attend, and that's it. All updated, all that communication will be automatically sent. In fact, here, this point here was just to highlight the fact that you not only can record attendance, but you can also record grades and add comments and mark people passed or failed. But wait, there's a bonus point here, number 11 bonus point. Respond to your course feedback. Okay, beyond keeping a general eye on performance, are you getting value from your individual feedback? So this is a little bit of a bonus one. This is what we're doing ourselves actually in Arlo here. So if you get poor feedback, clearly you want to jump on that. You want to make sure as soon as you receive that poor feedback, you've got an alert, an email that fires that says, hey, this person's giving you some bad feedback. Get on the phone to them. Obviously don't send them an email. Try and get engaged with them on the phone, listen to their problem and see if you can get to the bottom of it and potentially resolve it for next time. On the flip side, if you've got a happy customer, a person who's just given you a really good review, jump on that one as well. In fact, they're gold. They're really gold. Because there's lots of other review sites. There's Course Check site, there's Find Courses, that's a big course directory, and of course there's Google review sites. So all these review sites, what you want to do is make sure if a person has given you good feedback, clearly they like what they've the course you've delivered, get in touch with them and say, hey, can you please submit that same feedback into one of these other public review sites and put the effort into it because it's worth gold. You know, those reviews are worth so much for prospective customers when they're looking at various sites to see, you know, great feedback from your customers. Okay, this one here is just thrown in there. If you haven't heard of NPS, it's a really good format for a feedback question. And it's a common format that a lot of surveys are now using. So what they phrase the question like is, how likely are you to recommend a course to a friend or colleague? So it's the same phrase they use, whether it's asking for a course review or a product review. It's the same way they phrase it, and you've got a number from 0 to 10 in terms of not likely and extremely likely. So you've got a consistent format that you can then compare other providers and other feedback. So that's an NPS. Okay, just before we close off here, this is an example of Find Courses website. And if you look at the training provider that we're looking at, they've got a summary review of all the course ratings that have been submitted. And then they've got a list of all the courses and the reviews for each of those courses. And finally, they've got those comments that people have added. So like I said before, these people probably completed a survey feedback directly with the training company. The training company saw that good feedback and said, hey, can you post that on Find Courses? Okay, so there's your summary of 10, in fact, 11 ways to grow your training business. Put your user experience first. Eliminate website administration. Make sure everything's connected and integrated. Create an excuse to capture those leads. Make sure you try and get those details of that person and build that relationship right from the start before they were even registered. Make sure your SEO is working, your website is seen when people go searching. Leverage your data for marketing. Run tailored campaigns. Look at your different markets and your different types of people and send information specific for them and their needs. Keep everyone on the loop. Make sure you've got a nice automated system. Manage course capacities. Make sure that you can see well in advance if a course it doesn't look like it's going to fill, so that you can potentially run campaigns to generate more interest and registrations. Easily find available resource, so just have a good scheduler. Single source of truth. All your systems connected together. Go paperless and respond to course feedback. So just before we finish off, here's a few nightmares that you might be dealing with: manual processes, spreadsheets, duplication of data, and you might be looking for a system to solve some of these problems. So what type of system are you looking for? You might have heard the acronym LMS, Learning Management System. So these systems tend to be for internal staff training. They lack the online purchasing process, so they're designed really just to put people onto a course, a group of staff members onto a course, maybe face-to-face or e-learning. And so they're systems like Moodle, Canvas, Litmus, Cornerstone. And like I said, they're really focused more on internal staff training, potentially e-learning. You've got CRMs, which are essentially a customer database, a blank canvas like Salesforce, Dynamic CRM, but they don't have that course management functionality built in. It has to be added. You've got event management systems, EMS. These are designed really for one-off events or conferences. They tend to lack features and functionality to make it easy to do repeating courses. So they're like the likes of Eventbrite, Little Reggie. They're really good at what they're doing, which is selling one-off events or conferences, but they're not good for a person who's running a whole program of courses. And then you've got e-commerce websites. So websites that sell products. You've got a shopping cart, and of course, they might sell products really well, but they don't sell training. Everyone knows that training is quite a lot more sophisticated than selling a product. You've got course communication, you've got to deal with transfers, cancellations. And so these systems like Shopify, WooCommerce, they're really good for selling products, but they're not designed to sell courses. And so what you're actually looking for is you're looking for a training management system, a TMS, something that's specifically designed for training operators. They've got all those components, so website integration, online registration, course management, marketing tools, a CRM, and so forth. It's designed specifically for people who run training and try to and sell it on a commercial basis. Okay, considerations, really quick. Make sure your tech stack's covered. So if you've got other systems in your business, make sure they integrate with your training management system. And be a little bit flexible too. You might have some systems that you can't change, like an accounting system, very difficult to change that. But maybe an email marketing tool, maybe give it a bit of flexibility. If it doesn't integrate, then maybe look at what systems do integrate. Pricing models, just make sure that you're not up for big implementations. Make sure you understand the user and usage pricing. And watch out for credit card surcharges and percentage ticket price, or charges on percentage of ticket price, like Eventbrite. There's nothing wrong with their model. It's just not designed for people who are running lots and lots of courses and training. It's designed for people who just want something simple to sell a few tickets and get up and going. So what you're probably looking for is something that you don't have a surcharge that's a percentage of the ticket. Due diligence, make sure you do this. Make sure you jump into a trial and actually use the system. Don't just go on what's said on the website and all the marketing material. Actually try it and give it a good go. make sure that you look at the system, that it's got room for growth, that you're really looking ahead. You're not just looking at the requirements you've got now, but you're looking at a system that's going to be with you for, 5 years' time. Lots of customers come to us where they've built a bespoke system. It worked really well at that particular time, but they had no capacity to keep it growing and add new functionality. So you want to make sure that you pick a solution that's constantly evolving and getting better. And finally, look at your online reviews. Capterra, G2 Crowd, GetApp. There's some really good reviews to get feedback. Arlo, just a quick summary of what Arlo is all about. It's about streamlining your system, automating manual processes, making everyday tasks easy. I've said it all before in this presentation. Basically, you want a system that makes everything streamlined, that reduces the administration. So in most cases, our clients will reduce administration by about 50%. That's not all though, because when you're going to invest in a new system, you want to make sure it's not just about administration reduction. It's actually about growing your business and future-proofing it. So you want one that you can run campaigns, you can capture those leads on your website, you can do special promotions, so it can grow. So, in fact, most of our customers will actually grow registrations up to about 200% once they've actually implemented Arlo. So, nice and simple, streamline, grow, equal transformation. So Arlo will transform your business. Some stats, we've processed over 1 billion worth of transactions so far. We've got lots of courses scheduled, about 40,000 at any one time. We're in 70 countries. The growth that most of our customers experience when they come on board is about 200% in registrations. We've got loads of experience. We've been doing it for about 10 years more now. Got really good reviews. People like what they see and how they use and the functionality within Arlo. Really good ratings. And that's it. So hopefully that's of value and been really useful. Handing this over to Kathy now.
Thanks, John. That was great. So what's next? We will send you all a video of this webinar so that you can be reminded about the 10 or 11 things to ensure you're on the right track with your training. A lot of it I'm sure you already know, a lot of it I'm sure will resonate, and I'm sure there's some little nuggets there that you'll be able to take away. Please sign up for a demo. We've got a fantastic demonstration that any of our sales consultants can take you through. It's a real reflection of the platform, and it goes in quite a lot of depth in regard to a lot of the problems and issues that training organisations are facing. Contact us at sales@arlo.co. We'll be happy to have a conversation, go through your requirements and meet. I'm at the Learning Technologies Conference with our team members next week, so please stop by at our stand and you can have a demonstration there. And also we've got, you can register for a demo site as well, the one that John showed you earlier. We have the availability of you having a trial with that. So if we've got any questions now, we might open the floor for questions. So I'm just going to see if anyone's got any questions, could you please raise your hand in the attendee area, and we can respond to those. I can't see any coming up. Anthony, I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Hi, Anthony.
Hi.
How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks a lot for the presentation. Very informative and insightful. And must say, it sort of reminds us of, should we say, the things that are obvious, but are not always obvious, as you've come across. You know, what I wanted to find out really was, if you were, let's say, you want to start from scratch, the ideal world, you know, integrating a payment system to Arlo, what would be the ideal? And again, without obviously choosing one or the other, what would be the ideal type of payment system you would integrate with it in order to make it seamless and as simple as possible?
Yeah, I can answer that one, Kathy. So I'd probably recommend Stripe as a payment gateway provider, if that's the question, or where the question's coming from. I mean, we've got about 5 different payment integration options there, but I'd say Stripe is the best one. They've got a really good interface in the back end that you can log in and see all your transactions. But most importantly, they've got a really good interface. Well, essentially, the integration that we've got with Stripe is really seamless. So, in fact, that demo that I showed you where the person entered the registration details, that's actually Stripe. But
right, okay.
Yeah, and it can be set up very quickly as well. So I think you can get it when you adopt the Arlo system, you can get Stripe up and running within about half an hour and start taking paid registrations.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Anthony, because other systems you'll have a gateway and a merchant, and if you have to set up a merchant account, then you have to go to your bank and you have to go through a whole lot of processes to set up the merchant account. Then you've got to go to the payment gateway and set that up. Whereas Stripe does everything. They're both the merchant provider and the gateway, and in fact, they support just signing up for it and taking payments straight away.
And it's cost effective as well.
Absolutely excellent. Okay, see if anyone else has got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Anthony. Has anyone else got a question? Okay, I think it doesn't look like there's any other questions waiting, so we'll be in contact with the video of the webinar, and hopefully we'll see you at the Learning Technologies Conference. If not, myself or one of the other sales consultants based in the UK will be giving you a call as well to follow up. Okay, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been nice we can see who the people are, and we hope that you've taken away some thoughts of this and can go and put that into practice at the same time. John, have you got anything before we sign off?
That's all. Thanks very much for attending, guys. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.